Hello students, in the last class we completed the bubble point, dew point and fractional distillation. What is the distillation? Before that already we completed ideal solutions and non-ideal solutions. Okay. Now in this today's class we are going to discuss regarding some numericals based upon the ideal and non-ideal solutions. Okay. Now here first of all we have to remember some examples, specific examples regarding the ideal non-ideal solutions. Again in the non-ideal solutions, positive deviation and negative deviation. Now what is the meaning of an ideal solution? Ideal solutions are those solutions which follow Raoult's law under the given conditions of all concentrations and temperature, and which do not obey the Raoult's law, known as a non-ideal solution. Here the non-ideal solutions are again divided into two types: non-ideal solution showing the positive deviation and non-ideal solution showing the negative deviation from Raoult's law. Okay. Now in the positive deviation, what happens? The intermolecular force of attraction between solute and solvent will be very strong as compared to solute and solvent. That's why during the formation of a solution, the solute solvent interactions are very weak. That's why they have a great tendency to escape into the space. That's why they possess more vapor pressure. They possess more vapor pressure. Are you getting my point? Than the individual components. Such solutions are called non-ideal solutions with positive deviation. Okay. Now there are some other non-ideal binary solutions in which the solute solvent interactions are very strong as compared to solute and solvent. In that case, during the solution formation, what happens? The solution has a less tendency to undergo vaporization. That means here the less vapor pressure. That's why it is a negative deviation. More vapor pressure, that is a positive deviation. Are you getting my point? Now in this lecture we are going to discuss some numericals regarding the binary solutions of ideal and non-ideal solutions. Okay. 44 question. A binary liquid solution has N-heptane and ethyl alcohol. Now will it show which deviation, whether it is ideal or non-ideal? If it is non-ideal, again we have to identify whether it is a positive or negative deviation. Now do you know alcohol possess strong intermolecular hydrogen bonding? Yes or no? Alcohol molecules possess strong intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Okay. When to this alcohol, let's suppose if I am adding N-heptane, what happens? The N-heptane molecules, what they try to break the intermolecular force of attraction between the alcohol molecules. As a result of this, the hydrogen bond strength decreases. When the hydrogen bond strength decreases, the tendency to escape into the vapor phase increases. Thereby vapor pressure increases. That is called positive deviation from the Raoult's law. Vapor pressure increases, that is called positive deviation from the Raoult's law. Are you getting my point? That means option number B. Okay. Now question number 45. In this question number 45, identify the mixture showing the positive deviation of non-ideal solution. Now first of all we know heptane and hexane. This is a homologous series. Homologous series will form ideal solutions. So option B is ideal solution, and option C is also chlorobenzene and bromobenzene. Identical structure, similar structure, same polarity, similar size will form ideal solution. Okay. Now acetone and chloroform, they will form negative deviation from the Raoult's law. So this is a negative deviation. Okay. Here first option, if you see, this is corresponding to the positive deviation. This is corresponding to what? Positive deviation from the Raoult's law. So we have to remember some specific examples. You see example number 8, acetone plus carbon disulfide corresponding to positive deviation from Raoult's law. Okay. So 45th question, The answer will be the first option. In question number 46, the ethyl alcohol vapor pressures 168. Let's suppose I am taking the ethyl alcohol is a component A and methyl cyclohexane, I am assuming this is a liquid B. Okay. Now what is the vapor pressure of a component A given? That is the alcohol's 168 mm of Hg, and the vapor pressure of a pure methyl cyclohexane will be 280 mm. Okay. Now first of all I am trying to calculating the total pressure. And one more important thing, what is the mole fraction of alcohol given in the mixture? In the binary solution 0.68, and the mole fraction of methyl cyclohexane will be, we know some of the mole fractions, that will be XA and XB, which is equal to unity. Yes or no? So from here XB is equal to 1 minus XA, that means 1 minus 0.68, 1 minus 0.68, that will be 0.32. Okay. Now I am trying to calculating the total pressure. Total pressure is equal to PA plus PB, which is nothing but P naught A times of XA plus P naught B times of XB. Okay, so P naught A value 168 into XA value 0.68 plus P naught B value 280 into XB value 0.32. Okay, so after simplification of this one, you will get the total pressure 203.84. But actually experimentally it was found that the total pressure will be 376 mm. That means the P total which is given, that is experimental value, is greater than the P total calculated from the Raoult's law. Calculated from the Raoult's law. That means this solution will show which deviation? Positive deviation. Positive deviation means after intermixing of two components, the change in enthalpy will be greater than 0. Change in enthalpy greater than 0 means this reaction will be endothermic reaction. In endothermic reaction, what happens? Heat absorption takes place. Heat absorption occurs. Are you getting my point? So that's why option B, absorption of heat energy. Option B, absorption of heat energy. Okay. Now the next question, that is the 47th question. Total pressure of a mixture of a 1 mole of a and 2 moles of a B given 150 mm and 240 mm. These are the vapor pressure of a pure component A and B. So what is the vapor pressure of a pure component A? That will be 150 mm of Hg, and the vapor pressure of a pure component B, that will be 240 mm of Hg. Okay. Now how many number of moles of component A will be present? 1 mole. And component B will be present how many moles? 2 moles. How to find the mole fraction of component A? Number of moles of component A by total number of moles of A and B component. And similarly, mole fraction of a component B, number of moles of a component B divided by total number of moles of component A and B. So mole fraction of component A will be 1 by 3 and B will be how much? 2 by 3. Again I am trying to calculating the total pressure from Raoult's law. That will be PA plus PB, nothing but P naught A times of XA plus P naught B multiplied by XB. So what is the P naught A value? 150 into XA value 1 by 3. What is the P naught B value? 240 into XB value 2 by 3. XB value how much? 2 by 3. So overall you will get the 210 mm of Hg. What is the experimental value given? Only 200. That means the P total value, that is experimental value, is obviously less than the P total. P total calculated from whom? Raoult's law. Okay. That means here this solution will show negative deviation. This solution will show which deviation? Negative deviation from the Raoult's law. Negative deviation from the Raoult's law. That will be the option B. Option B. Next to question number 48. In the question number 48, which of the following will form a ideal binary solution? Okay. First of all, we have to observe the each and every example. First example, ethyl alcohol and water. So this is corresponding to positive deviation from the Raoult's law. And second example corresponding to negative deviation from the Raoult's law. Third example is corresponding to negative deviation from the Raoult's law. And fourth example, benzene and toluene. It is a well-known example regarding the ideal solution. Regarding the ideal solution. Once again I am repeating, these examples are very important regarding the non-ideal solution with positive deviation and non-ideal solution with negative deviation. Okay. Now question number 49. In the question number 49, you have bromomethane, tribromomethane, and methylamine. Okay, so we know in amines there is a strong intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Yes or no? Amines possess hydrogen bonding. Amines possess intermolecular hydrogen bonding. So here the nitrogen has one lone pair of electron. Okay, and another nitrogen containing hydrogen has positive charge. Because of this, there is a attractive force between the more electronegative nitrogen and electropositive hydrogen. Okay, so nitrogen electronegative, hydrogen electropositive. In between them there is a strong electrostatic force of attraction, nothing but dipole attraction. This is called hydrogen bonding. This force of attraction is called which bond? Hydrogen bond. Now what we are adding? CH3Br3, CHBr3, bromoform, CHBr3 added. When CHBr3 added, what about the strength of hydrogen bond? Hydrogen bond strength decreases. The strength of hydrogen bond, what happens? Decreases. That means here vapor pressure increases. So which deviation? Positive deviation. Positive deviation. That will be the option number D, fourth option. Okay. Now next one, question number 47. Question number, I think this will be 48, 49. This will be question number 50. This will be the question number once again. This will be the question number. Yes, this will be the question number 50. In this question number 50, if you see, for a ideal binary solution, P0A greater than P0B, which relation between XA, that is the mole fraction of A in the liquid phase, and YA, mole fraction of A in the vapor phase, will be correct. Now we know the mole fraction of component A in the vapor phase, that will be YA, YB, will be equal to P0A times of XA divided by P0B times of XB. So this is very important relation. We have to remember this relation regarding the mole fraction of components in the vapor phase as well as in the liquid phase. Okay. Now here the given condition, the vapor pressure of a component A is greater than the vapor pressure of a component B in the pure form. That means P0A divided by P0B is greater than 1. If the P0A divided by P0B, this value is greater than 1, that means mole fraction ratio of component A and B in vapor phase is obviously greater than the mole fraction of components in the liquid phase. That means YA by YB greater than XA by XB. That will be the option C. Okay. Now question number 51. In the question number 51, an ideal solution is formed by mixing of two volatile liquids A and B. XA, XB are the mole fractions of A and B in the solution, whereas YA, YB are the mole fraction of A and B in the vapor phase. A plot is drawn between the 1 by YA on the y-axis and 1 by XE on the x-axis. What will be the slope of the straight line? So first of all, we have to know the relation between the mole fraction of component A in vapor phase as well as in the solution phase. Okay. Now from Dalton's law, partial pressure will be equal to total pressure multiplied by mole fraction. Partial pressure of a component A, that will be the PA, total pressure, that will be the P total, into mole fraction of component A in the vapor phase, that is the YA. So from here I am writing YA will be equal to PA upon P total. Okay. From the Raoult's law, we know PA is equal to P0A into XA. And what will be the total pressure from the Raoult's law? PA plus PB. So again P0A into XA divided by Here PA nothing but P naught A XA and PB nothing but P naught B into XB. Now what I am doing here, we know sum of the mole fraction of components in the liquid phase, that is will be XA plus XB equal to 1. So I am writing mole fraction of component A in the vapor phase equal to P naught A times of XA whole divided by P naught A times of XA plus P naught B times of, instead of XA I am writing, instead of XB I am writing 1 minus XA. Are you getting my point? Now after that YA will be equal to P naught A times of XA whole divided by, here if you take the common as a XA you will get P naught A minus P naught B times of XA plus P naught B into 1, that will be the P naught B. If you reciprocal the numerator and denominator you will get 1 by YA will be equal to P naught A minus P naught B multiplied by XA plus P naught B whole divided by P naught A XA. So final answer here 1 upon mole fraction of component in the vapor phase YA equal to P naught B upon P naught A multiplied by 1 by mole fraction of component A in the liquid phase plus P naught A minus P naught B whole divided by P naught A. Okay, if you observe this equation, it is a linear equation. Okay, it is in the form of y is equal to what? Mx plus c. So if you draw a graph between the 1 by YA on the y-axis and 1 upon XA on the x-axis, you will get a straight line making the slope m and having the intercept c on the y-axis. Okay, now this will be the straight line. What will be the intercept here? What will be the intercept here? Intercept will be P naught A minus P naught B divided by P naught A. And what is the slope of a straight line here? Slope will be equal to P naught B upon P naught A. So what will be the slope here? P naught B divided by P naught A. That will be the first option. That is option A. Okay. Now in the next question, that is the question number 52. The solubility of a specific non-volatile salt is 4 grams in the 100 grams of a water. That means here 4 grams of a salt can be dissolved in the 100 grams of a water. That is the maximum solubility. Now what we are doing, we are taking the 2 grams, 4 grams and 6 grams of salt added to the 100 grams of a water. Now at 25 degrees Celsius. Remember, temperature is same here. So there are 3 solutions are formed X, Y, Z. Now the question is the order of the vapor pressure. Now you see what will be the maximum solubility here. What will be the maximum solubility here? That will be 4 gram per 100 gram water. Yes or no? That means if the compound in the X solution, if you see in X solution, what is the weight of salt? Only 2 grams. Weight of salt will be how much? Only 2 grams. That means here the solute will be less and solvent will be more. That's why X solution has high vapor pressure. Are you getting my point? Now come to compound Y and compound Z solution. Compound Y and compound 2, the salt weight will be 4 gram and 6 gram. Remember, even though 6 grams of a salt is present, only the 4 grams soluble and the 2 grams will be precipitated in the solution. Okay, that means how much of the maximum amount of a salt can be dissolved, that much of salt will be dissolved and the remaining salt will be in the undissolved form, that is in the precipitation form. That means Y and Z solutions have same vapor pressure. Therefore order of vapor pressure of the solution, highest vapor pressure in the X solution, and what about the Y and Z solution, they have equal or same vapor pressure. So this is the D option. This will be the option D. Okay, now the next question, 53 question. The boiling point of benzene, methyl alcohol, aniline and nitrobenzene are respectively 80 degrees, 65 degrees, 184 degrees Celsius and 212 degrees Celsius. Now which will show the highest vapor pressure? First of all, we have a relation between vapor pressure and boiling point. We know as the boiling point increases, the vapor pressure decreases, or vice versa. Okay. Now first of all, what is the given boiling point order? The least boiling point will be methanol, that is the CH3OH, because 65 degrees, and after that you have benzene, and next you have aniline, and finally you have nitrobenzene. Highest boiling point here is nitrobenzene. Now boiling point vapor pressure inversely proportional, so that's why highest vapor pressure corresponding to methanol, and next one will be the benzene, and next one will be the aniline, and finally least vapor pressure, that is the most highest boiling point, will be the nitrobenzene. So our option will be the methanol, that will be the C option. Okay. Now the next question, that is the question number 54, which will form the maximum boiling point, boiling azeotropy. What is the meaning of a maximum azeotropy? Means the boiling point will be maximum, means vapor pressure should be minimum. So minimum vapor pressure, that means the negative deviation. The non-ideal solutions which shows negative deviation from the Raoult's law, they possess minimum vapor pressure. When the vapor pressure will be minimum, then the boiling point will be maximum. The boiling point will be what? Maximum. Are you getting my point? Now here in the question number 54, the first one will be benzene and toluene. This is an ideal solution. Ideal solutions do not form azeotropy. Only non-ideal solutions will form azeotropy. Water and HNO3, they form negative deviation. Negative deviation means they have low vapor pressure. Low vapor pressure means maximum boiling point azeotropy. Maximum boiling point azeotropy. Okay. Now option number, negative deviation form maximum number of boiling azeotropy. So the question will be the maximum boiling azeotropy. So that will be the option number B. Option number B. And come to the option C. Alcohol and water, they show positive deviation. When the positive deviation means vapor pressure increases, so boiling point decreases. So minimum boiling azeotropy. N-hexane, N-heptane, they always form ideal solution. They always form a solution, ideal solution. Are you getting my point? Now, question number 55. What is the question number 55 here? The azeotropic mixture of a water, that is the boiling point 100 degrees, and HCl, that is the 86 degrees, boils at 120 degrees. You see, the boiling point of a mixture will be more than that of the individual components. So this is a maximum boiling azeotropy. Maximum boiling azeotropy mixture, that is water and hydrochloric acid. Are you getting my point? Do you know the definition of azeotropy mixture? It is a mixture of non-ideal solution of a certain composition and whose composition will be constant in vapor phase as well as in the solution phase. That means they possess a constant boiling point. They possess constant boiling point. That's why by using the distillation phenomena, it is difficult to separate the components in the azeotropy mixture. Are you getting my point? It is not possible to separate the pure HCl or pure water or both. So neither water nor H2O nor HCl can be separated in the pure form in azeotropy mixture, which is the option number D. Okay. Now question number 56. This is relevant to the question number 51. In the question number 51, what will be the final equation? That is a straight line equation, which is nothing but 1 upon Ya. I am writing here question number 56. I am directly writing 1 upon Ya. 1 by Ya will be equal to P naught B divided by P naught A. I am directly writing the equation. If you have any doubt, you can see the question number. Refer question number 51. P naught B upon P naught A multiplied by 1 by XA plus P naught A minus P naught B whole divided by P naught A. So this is in the form of Y is equal to mx plus C. This is in the form of Y is equal to mx plus C, where slope of a straight line will be equal to P naught B upon P naught A and the intercept value C value equal to P naught A minus P naught B whole divided by P naught A. Now the question is the slope as well as the intercept. What is the slope? P naught B upon P naught A. This will be the P naught B upon P naught A, and the intercept will be P naught A minus P naught B divided by P naught A. That is the second option, B option. Okay. Now question number 57. An ideal solution containing a two volatile liquids. An ideal solution containing a two volatile liquids. Okay, A and B. So pure form of the liquid A, vapor pressure 100 tar, and B will be 200 tar, and 1 mole of A and 4 moles of B are mixing. First of all, number of moles of component A 1 mole and component B will be 4 moles. What is the mole fraction of component A? 1 by 5, and component B will be 4 by 5. What will be the vapor pressure of a pure component A will given 100 tar, and what is the vapor pressure of a pure component B is given 200 tar. So first of all, what I am trying to do here, calculating the total pressure by using the Raoult's law. P total will be equal to P naught A times of XA plus P naught B times of XB. So here P naught A will be 100 into 1 by 5 plus 200 into 4 by 5. Okay, so finally you will get to 180 tar. Remember, this is not the answer, this is not the final answer. The question is find the total pressure in the distillate. Distillate means in the vapor phase. Okay, in the sense, let's suppose this is a container. In this container, liquid is present, A and B, and vapor is also present. So this is the vapor form, and this will be the liquid form. What is the mole fraction of a component A in the liquid phase? That will be 1 by 5. In the vapor phase, XB will, in the liquid phase, next component B will be 4 by 5. Okay. Now here, first of all, what we have to find? We have to find the mole fraction in the vapor phase. We know YA upon YB will be equal to, I am writing here, we are trying to finding the mole fraction. So we are trying to finding the mole fraction. Okay. Now here, what is the mole fraction ratio in the vapor phase? YA upon YB will be equal to what? P naught A into XA by P naught B XB. What is the P naught A? 100 and P naught B 200. XA that will be 1 by 5, XB 4 by 5. So ratio will be 1 by 4. So you have 1 upon 8, 1 by 8. And one more relation we know, YA and YB, that is YA plus YB equal to 1. So there are two equations and two unknown. By solving this, we can find the YA value 1 upon 9 and YB value 8 upon 9. Are you getting my point? Now what is the mole fraction of component A and B in the vapor phase? That will be 1 by 9 and 8 by 9. Are you getting my point? Now these vapors are now sent into another distillation chamber. Before going to that, these vapors are what? Condensed with the help of a condenser. So this is a condenser. With the help of a condenser, what I am doing? I am condensing the vapors of YA and YB. When we are condensing the vapors of YA and YB, what happens? They condense to give liquid A and B. Now in the liquid A and B, what is the mole fraction of component A? XA dash, XA dash, because it is already XA. Now it is XA dash, and liquid B mole fraction in the liquid component will be XB dash. Okay. Now whatever the vapor phase component will be there, that is also here liquid, that will be equal to the mole fraction of component in the liquid phase, because from the law of conservation of mass, how much of vapor will be present? If you condense the vapor, then you will get same amount of liquid. Yes, that's why I am using the component A and B mole fraction in the liquid phase 1 by 9 and 8 by 9. Indirectly, here XA dash will be equal to YA and XB dash equal to what? YB. This is called first distillate. First distillate. Are you getting my point? So in the first distillate, if you want to find the P total, what will be P total? P naught A times of XA. Instead of XA, I am writing XA dash, and plus P naught B into XB. Instead of XB, I am writing XB dash. XB dash. So this is 100. Now what is the XA dash? 1 upon 9 and 200 P naught B, and XB dash will be 8 by 9. 8 by 9. Are you getting my point? So total you have 1700 divided by 9. 1700 divided by 9. So you have final answer 188.8 torr. 188.8 torr. Are you getting my point? So that will be the option C. That will be the option C. Now come to the question number 58. The vapor pressure of a two pure liquids A and B that form a ideal solution are 100 torr, 900 torr. That will be the vapor pressure of a pure component A is given 100 torr, and the vapor pressure of a component B given 900 torr. Okay, at the temperature T, this liquid solution composed of 1 mole of A and 1 mole of B. Number of moles of A 1 mole, number of moles of B 1 mole. So what will be the mole fraction of component A? 1 by 2, and component B will be 1 by 2 in the liquid phase. Okay, now the question is, what will be the pressure when 1 mole of a mixture has been vaporized? 1 mole of a mixture has been what? Vaporized. Let's suppose I am taking first of all liquid solution. In liquid solution, in liquid phase solution, what is the mole fraction of component A? Number of moles of component will be how much? Let's suppose here the number of moles of component is Na is 1 mole, and number of moles of component B is also 1 mole. So this will be the liquid phase. Okay. Now in the liquid phase, what happens? The liquid undergo vaporization. So you have here vapors. So these are the vapors. Okay. So this will be the liquid phase, and this will be the vapor phase. Are you getting my point? In the vapor phase, now here, how many moles of initial liquid A? 1 mole. Liquid B? 1 mole. Let's suppose, what I am assuming, this is the number of moles of liquid A and B, 1 mole, 1 mole. In the vapor phase, let's suppose X moles of A and Y moles of B vaporize. So the remaining number of moles of liquid A will be 1 minus X, and liquid will be 1 minus Y. Are you getting my point? That means out of the 1 mole of A, X moles of A will undergo vaporization, and out of 1 mole of B, Y moles of B undergo vaporization. Are you getting my point? So these are the number of moles in the vapor phase. Let's suppose this is Na dash and this will be the Nb dash, vapor phase. Are you getting my point? Now here 1 mole of a vapor, 1 mole of a liquid get vaporized. So in vapor phase, how many total moles are there? X plus Y, which is equal to 1 mole. It is given in the question. So from here we have one relation between X and Y. Okay, X and Y. X and Y. Are you getting my point? Now here we know the mole fraction ratio in the vapor phase to that of a solution phase, that will be Ya by Yb equal to P naught A into Xa upon P naught B into Xb. Yes or no? Now here, what is the mole fraction of component? Mole fraction here, X by X plus Y divided by Y by X plus Y. So X plus Y gets cancelled. Directly I am using the number of moles. So number of moles ratio nothing but the mole fraction ratio. P naught A will be 100 and P naught B will be 900. What is the Xa mole fraction in the component A in the liquid phase? 1 minus X by liquid B 1 minus Y. So I am taking the moles ratio as a mole fraction ratio. Okay. Now here, what will be the value of 1 minus Y? Shall I write 1 minus Y is equal to X? And what is the value of Y? Y is equal to 1 minus X. Are you getting my point? So what I am trying to do here, convert the X value into Y or Y value into X and find the value of X or Y. So first of all, what I am doing, I am converting the Y in terms of X. What is the Y value? 1 minus X will be equal to 1 by 9 into 1 minus X. What is the 1 minus X value? That will be the X. So after cross multiplication, you will get 9 into X square. That will be 1 minus X whole square. From here 3x is equal to 1 minus X. So 4x is equal to 1. So x is equal to 1 by 4. Okay. That means how many moles of liquid A will undergo vaporization? 1 by 4 mole. That means if it is vaporized to 1 by 4 moles, how many moles of liquid will be left here? 3 by 4 moles. Are you getting my point? Are you getting my point? Now here, Now what will be the total vapor pressure after 1 mole vaporized? So P total will be equal to P naught A into XA plus P naught B into XB. So what is the P naught A value? 100. What is the XA value? XA value will be equal to 1 minus X. That will be the number of moles of 1 minus X by total moles. How many moles left here? Only 1 mole. Only 1 mole, because total moles here, N total will be equal to 1 plus 1, 2 minus of X plus Y. If X plus Y is equal to 1, so 2 minus 1 equal to 1. So 1 minus X by total moles 1 plus what will the vapor pressure of pure component be? That will be the 900 tar. 900 tar into what will be the XB value? What will be the XB value? 1 minus Y. 1 minus Y shall I write X? 1 minus Y shall I write X here? So that's why I am writing here, instead of 1 minus Y I am writing X by total 1 mole. Okay. Now 100 into what is the X value? 1 by 4. 1 minus X nothing but here 3 by 4 plus 100 into X nothing but what? 1 by 4. So here you will get 1200 by 4, which is nothing but 300 tar. Okay, so this is the final pressure after 1 mole get vaporized. That will be the 300 tar, option number C. And last one more question is there. A liquid mixture having a composition corresponding to point Z in the figure shown is subjected to distillation at a constant pressure. Which of the following statement is correct about the process? First option, the composition of distillate differs from the mixture. Second option, the boiling point goes on changing. Third option, the mixture has highest vapor pressure than for any other composition, and the composition of azeotropy alters on changing the external pressure. Now this is the azeotropy. Now here it is azeotropic composition mixture. This is the Z composition given here. This is the azeotropic mixture composition. Okay. Now here on the left hand side XA value 0. On the right hand side XA value 1. That means this is only component B. Component B boiling point will be T naught B, and component A, this is the mole fraction of A will be 1. So that's why what we are doing here, we are taking the component A, pure component boiling point will be T naught A, and the pure component B boiling point will be T naught B, and the boiling point of azeotropy mixture will be this is the boiling point of azeotropy mixture, boiling point of the azeotropy mixture. Okay. Now first option, what is the option number 1? The composition of a distillate differ from the mixture. No, because the composition of azeotropic mixture will be constant. Will be what? Constant. Okay. And next one, the boiling point goes on changing. Here you see the boiling point value, it is fixed for azeotropy mixture. The boiling point of a azeotropy mixture, boiling point of azeotropic mixture will be constant. Okay. Now third option, the mixture has the highest vapor pressure. If the vapor pressure is highest, the boiling point should be lowest. But here you see the boiling point of azeotropy mixture will be more than that of the pure component A and B. That means this is also incorrect statement. The composition of a azeotropy alters on changing the external pressure. Yes. Now we know boiling point is directly proportional to external pressure. As the external pressure changes, the boiling point of mixture changes. When the boiling point of a composition changes, then the composition of azeotropy also changes. When the composition of azeotropy changes, by changing the external pressure. By changing the what? External pressure. So the correct option will be the D option.